I'm Michael Collins Piper. You may know me as a correspondent for American Free Press, the weekly newspaper out of Washington. It can be found at AmericanFreePress.net on the internet. That's the internet version of the paper, but this is the weekly print edition of the paper. You may have also heard my nightly broadcast at republicbroadcasting.org. I make a lot of people angry with what I say, writing in American Free Press and broadcasting at republicbroadcasting.org. But recently, a supporter of American Free Press put up a video about my new book, The Golem, which is subtitled Israel's Nuclear Hell Bomb and the Road to Global Armageddon. Yeah, this book is critical of Israel. It is the case for dismantling our planet's most dangerous arsenal of atomic weapons of mass destruction, which I do believe that is precisely one of the biggest problems on the face of the planet today. We wouldn't have a nuclear arms race in the Middle East if it wasn't for Israel's nuclear weapons of mass destruction, which I have dubbed the Golem, G-O-L-E-M. If you do a search on the internet of the word Golem, G-O-L-E-M, and my name, Michael Collins Piper, do a Google search here, you'll find information about where you can get this book. You'll find information about American Free Press. You'll find information about some of my other books which have been critical of Israel and the Israeli lobby. The High Priests of War and the New Jerusalem. The New Jerusalem is subtitled Zionist Power in America. The High Priests of War is all about these neoconservatives that got us into Iraq and want to get us into Iran. Well, I'm here today responding to the criticisms of the video about the Golem, which was posted on YouTube, and which you can also find a link to at AmericanFreePress.net. It's kind of funny. I continue to be amazed that so many people have these gut reactions to any criticism of the state of Israel. They get absolutely hysterical. You can criticize Iceland, you can criticize Indonesia, you can criticize Ireland, you can criticize anybody else in the face of the planet. But if you criticize Israel, they call you a racist, they call you a Hitler apologist. They have all these terrible things to say, and yet we have this arms race going on in the Middle East. Israel is central to it. Israel was the first country in the Middle East to get a nuclear weapon. That's why all of these other countries have looked jealously upon Israel's nuclear arms and also looked with fear on Israel's nuclear arms, because these people recognize that Israel is a powerful country in and of itself, backed up by the United States. Some estimates say that Israel has the world's 5th biggest nuclear arsenal, and yet we have these John Hagee types, these fanatical fundamentalists who say that I'm going to hell for criticizing Israel and saying that Israel shouldn't be building a nuclear bomb. They say that anyone who criticizes Israel is going to hell. Well, if they consider me a candidate for hell, then they should also consider the U.S. military leaders as a candidate for hell, because a few years ago, the American military lent their name to a report issued, I believe, by the U.S. Army War College, which said that one solution to the nuclear arms race in the Middle East was for Israel to open up its nuclear weapons for inspection. I have a whole chapter on that in the book, The Golem. It's the U.S. Army talking here. This is the U.S. Army talking, ladies and gentlemen, saying that Israel needs to open up its nuclear weapons. Now, how many people have heard about that? Are we going to call the U.S. Army racist? Yes. The U.S. Army War College. It's all here in my book, The Golem. So, you know, these labels that are applied to me and to all other people who are critics of Israel and Israeli nuclear escalation, they really don't bother me in the least. I'm amused by them. And frankly, I have to say that I look at some of the criticisms of that video on YouTube, but I take a great deal of pleasure in knowing the fact that so many of my critics are illogical and illiterate and simply hysterical. And that all taken together suggests to me that maybe I'm on the right track, and maybe American Free Press is on the right track, and the Republic Broadcasting Network is on the right track in daring to say that we should look out for America first. Have a good day.